welcome back. Today we're going to be focused more on our word problem style questions. You'll notice that I have my laptop in front of me, and that's because I don't have a printer at home, so I'm going to be looking at the word problems and then doing my working out on the bits of paper, and that's absolutely fine. We've had lots of different work submitted in lots of different ways, and it's whatever works for you.
So for the first question today, I'm going to look at Jungle Word Problems, question number 1, which says 3 monkeys each have 4 bananas. So here it says 3 monkeys have 4 bananas. Those are the 2 numbers that I heard first of all. And if I had the pack, I probably would circle them. It also said the word all together. Now this is a word that comes up quite often in word problems and means the total. Now it says here that 3 monkeys have 4 bananas each. So the first thing I need to do is think about what operation I need to do. Now I know it's not a division because they're not sharing the bananas. I know that it's not a subtraction because they're not giving them away. So it's either got to be multiplication or addition. Now addition and multiplication can often be quite closely linked because multiplication is actually repeated addition. So if I was to think about, and this is my monkey, so I'm going to do 3 circles with an M in. We use those as my monkeys. And they each had 4. That's the same as saying 4 add 4 add 4 equals. And I might draw my dots underneath to help me. Now I can do this, but I can also link that to multiplication. It's the same as saying 4 3 times. So I could count up 4, 8, 12. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is my answer. 3 monkeys have 4 bananas. Oh, but one thing I've forgotten. A word question needs a word answer. So I need to make sure I've written 12 bananas. Next question I'm going to look at is question number 3. It says, a tiny tiger walks 7 miles, I'm going to write that down, looking for some food. His friend walked 5 times further. Oh, that gives me a good clue. How far does the friend walk? Now, I know that tiger number 1 walked 7 miles and he walked 5 times. Now that gives me a huge clue. I need to times my 7 by 5. Now I spoke yesterday in our arithmetic session about maybe drawing our circles for an array, or I could count up in 5s 7 times. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. His friend walks a considerable amount further than him. He walks 35 what? What was the unit of measurement? It said 7 miles. 35 miles, therefore his friend must walk. That's quite a long way to go. Now I'm going to go back to question number 2. It says there were 16 elephants on the way to the watering hole. So I know that there are 16 elephants. Half of them decided to stop and look at a baby lion. How many of them stop? So this time it's saying how many. I had all together, which meant our total, and how many. Now this question is asking me to find out what half of 16 is. And I know that when I'm finding half of something, it's the same as divided by 2. The reason I know this is because it does tell me in the question. Sometimes it gives me clues and sometimes it doesn't. So for this, I'm going to use a similar method to yesterday. I'm going to make my 2 circles. I'm going to split my 16 between it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And there should be equal amounts in each group. Another way of doing this is counting how many 2s go into 16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I have 8 fingers up. There are 8 2s in 16. Let's check our groups here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 in my left-hand circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 in my right-hand circle. So half of 16 is 8. But what was my unit of measurement? How many of them stopped? So it's got to be 8 elephants. 8 stopped 8 carried on walking. Now the next question I'm going to jump ahead to is going to be question 5 on our second day. It says, an elephant has 35 stones. A tiger has 18. I'm just writing these numbers down at the moment. I don't know how I'm going to use them. And a monkey has 42. So just looking at those numbers first of all, I know that the monkey has the most, the tiger has the least, and the elephant has the middle number. Now the final part of my question gives me the direction of what it's looking for. How many stones are there all together? Now when it's all together, it's looking for that total. And here I know that that means I need to add those 3 numbers. Now I looked at this yesterday with single digit numbers, but this is a little bit trickier this time. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to have a look to see if I can notice any numbers that I could pair together to make it a little bit easier for myself. And I think I spotted it. I know that 2 add 8 is 10, which is, for me, easier to do than 5 add 8, so I'm going to do that first. Now, I'm going to write that down here. That's my first step. And remember, I've underlined my numbers to remind myself to use them. Now, another way of working out, a way that I quite enjoy, is called partitioning. And this also helps us for our column method. 10 add 40 is 50. 8 add 2 is 10. 5 tens add 1, 10. 50 add 10 is 60. Now I've used these 2 numbers now, can't forget my equals. And now I need to add my final number, 35. And I need to remember to add it to 60 because that is the total of my 2 previous numbers. So my second step now is 60 add 35. And this time I'm going to choose to write this down as a vertical number line. This is just me showing you all of the different methods you can use, whatever works for you. So I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, and then the little one at the end is a 5. So 60 add 10 is 70, 70 add 10 is 80, 80 add 10 is 90, 90 add 5 is 95. I've got my equals here to show that the answer is 95 in total. I may want to use my 100 square for this question. I might also want to challenge myself to use my column method, but what I would say is this is quite a tricky question with multiple steps. So what do I need to do now? I need to think of the inverse, but I'm going to have to take my time to do this. I'm going to have to do this bit by bit. So I would think about 95. Now the inverse of addition is subtraction. 95, take away 42, then take away that 18, then take away that 35, and that should take me back to nothing. All of these 3 numbers total together equal 90. And my final question today on my word problem tour is going to be question number 2. It says, the Jungle Tour sold badges for 35p. Sounds very reasonable. I'm going to write that down, 35p, which is the same as 35 pence. How many badges could you buy for £1? Ooh. Now, £1 is equal in value to 100p, and that is a conversion that I need to remember today to help me. So I need to think about how many 35s go into 100, but I'm not that good at counting up in 35s. So I'm going to start slowly, and I'm going to say 35 add 35, and I'm going to use my column method for this one. I'm challenging myself to use that. Now 5 add 5 is 10, but I only want, I'm going to split this down the middle here, 1 digit in my ones column. I can't have 2. So I'm going to put my 0 in my ones column because in 10 there are 0 ones. And I'm going to put my 1 to show my 10 at the bottom. And I always do this at the bottom because otherwise sometimes it can get really complicated at the top. I have 3 10s, add 3 10s, which is the same as 30, add 30, which is 60. Not forgetting this 10 at the bottom, I'm going to cross it through to show I've used it, and that is 70. So 35 add 35 is 70. So at the moment, I can buy 1, 2 badges. The next thing I'd like you to try is to add 35 to your 70. Does it take you to 100? Is it bigger than? Is it smaller than? Can you afford 3 badges or can you only afford 2? I have chosen to use column addition. You may want to use our vertical number line as discussed before. You may even want to get some of those coins out of the jar in maybe your kitchen like I have, and add those coins together. For 35, there are many different ways that you can make them. You can use your silver coins, your 10s and your 5, or you could use your coppers, but you would be there a little bit longer. How many badges can you put?
So thank you for joining me to complete some word problems today. I hope you have found that useful. Any questions, please do ask us on Teams. We are here to help, and we're looking forward to finding out all about your hard work.